Today we will be learning a little bit more about equivalent rates and ratios. We talked about it just briefly in our last lesson. Today we are going to learn how to find these equivalent ratios and rates by using tables. And so this is something that we've done before when we came to fractions, but now we are going to relate it to ratios. So I put 3 problems on the board. And here would be the prompt. It would be find 3 equivalent ratios for the given ratio. Okay, so 8 to 3, not 8/3. Remember, we're talking ratios. We're comparing 2 numbers right now. Looks the same, but it's depending upon what our prompt is. So we have the ratio 8 to 3. We want to find 3 equivalent ratios. So I have a 4-column by 2-row table. I'm going to put each number in the beginning, 8 to 3. What we can do is we can start multiplying or dividing both numbers by the same amount to get equivalent ratios, much like we did equivalent fractions. So let's just look at multiplying. So let's multiply both of these original numbers in our ratio by 2. 8 times 2 is 16. 3 times 2 is 6. Let's multiply that original ratio by 3. 8 times 3 is 24. 3 times 3 is 9. And finally, let's multiply them by 4. 8 times 4 is 32. 3 times 4 is 12. So we can say now that the following ratios are equivalent. I have 8 to 3, our original ratio. Our next one, 16 to 6, 24 to 9, and 32 to 12. So all 4 of these ratios are equivalent. They show the same comparison between the 2 numbers. Let's do another one, only we're going to write it using the English word 2, 4 to 7. We're going to do the same procedure. We're going to find 3 equivalent ratios for that given ratio. So let's multiply each one times 2, then times 3, then times 4. You could make this almost anything. We could multiply this by 100, 200, 300 if we really wanted to. But let's do, so 4 times 2 is 8, 7 times 2 is 14. 4 times 3 is 12, 7 times 3 is 21. 4 times 4 is 16, 7 times 4 is 28. So let's look at our original ratio, 4 to 7. I can also write 8 to 14. I can write 12 to 21. And I can write 16 to 28. Now I chose to keep the same format of my original ratio. It would not be totally incorrect if you wrote your ratio like this. It just makes more sense. If your original problem, there must have been a reason for it. We keep the same format. So now let's look at our third example, 40 to 16, and we use our third way of writing a ratio, which is my favorite, is using the colon. So I'm going to put the 40 and the 16. Now, instead of multiplying through, we could. Our numbers are going to get huge if we start multiplying these numbers. Let's see if we can start dividing. So here, I see that they're both even. So I'm going to divide each one by 2. 40 divided by 2 is 20. 16 divided by 2 is 8. Okay. I can also divide this original ratio by 4. I just noticed that I could do that. 40 divided by 4 is 10. 16 divided by 4 is 4. I can also divide my original ratio by 8. Okay. 40 divided by 8 is 5. 16 divided by 8 is 2. So now I can start writing my equivalent ratios. My original one is 40 to 16. My next one is 20 to 8, 10 to 4, and 5 to 2. So I have found 3 additional equivalent ratios, 40 to 16. And there's how you find equivalent ratios and rates by using tables.